Welcome back, folks. Episode 8 of the postseason pod. Season is in full swing. It's about a month and a half into the season. Teams have played between 12 and 15 games. Good sample size for some young guys. Still some news coming out, some trades to help bolster some blue lines and things of that nature. So excited to get to talk to all of you guys about what's going on around the NHL. Took a little bit of a off week, busy week for both of us, but we've been updating the channel with some short form content, so make sure to go check that out. Bryce, we got a big signing today. It's the savior for a struggling team. What do we got?
Yes, the savior of the Boston Bruins, who was on a PTO originally. Tyler Johnson signed a 1 year, $775K deal, very identical to the Matt Martin signing earlier. But yeah, savior of the Bruins.
Yeah. They could use Casimir Kaskasuo as well. But yeah, Hawk legend. They said he's going to be in the lineup tonight against the Leafs. Maybe that'll be able to sort of ignite a fire under the squad. That's I believe they're exactly 500 through 13 games, 6-6-1. Pasternak's been benched by Jim Montgomery. So obviously he's been struggling and crossing paths in a poor way with Jim Montgomery and how he's playing. But yeah, I think they desperately need to find their game. I mean, it's 13 games in. But yeah, you can definitely lose a season early in, or lose a playoff bid early in the season, and it's easier when you're out to a hot start. So hopefully they can get it back together. Other news coming out of Boston today: Trent Frederick has been receiving a lot of interest. He's set to become a UFA this summer, and he's one of those guys that sort of has a unique ability to play with some skill, but also have that hard-nosed, aggressive type of game. So if he's available, I think all 16 teams in the playoff spot should go after him, and I think he might surprise some teams with or surprise the league with how valuable he is. I think back to when Brandon Hagel got sent to the Lightning from the Hawks. He sort of was a Swiss Army knife. I don't know if teams will get 2 first rounders for him. But yeah, I think that, he would be the perfect Islander. I mean, biased opinion, but
he's a poor man's Kachuk in a way.
yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, he's a guy you want on your team, but you hate playing against. So, he's proven that he can sort of perform in the playoffs. He scored some big goals for that team in the run last year, who, funny enough, they're taking on Toronto tonight on USA election night. Yeah, just some interesting stories coming out of Boston. Next, I'm going to go over to a little deal between a Metro team and a Pacific team. Emil Andre, I believe it was, got sent to the blue line of the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers have looked to sort of bolster their blue line a little bit. They got Matt Benning, or no, that was the Toronto trade for Liljegren. But they sent back a prospect that nobody's really heard of.
It's Ronnie. It's Ben Gleason for Ronnie.
Ronnie Attard. Yeah. I got the A's mixed up. Andre and Attard. So I don't know. Maybe that'll be a good deal for one of the teams. Maybe it'll be, a nothing burger, if you will. So yeah, interested to see, what comes out of that deal. We had Oli Mata go from the sort of struggling but 500 Detroit Red Wings up to the hot but now cold Utah Hockey Club. So yeah, what do you think of that deal? And I know he was sort of struggling in Detroit, and maybe it'll be good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense for Utah, especially having 2 of their defensemen. I think it's Dursey and someone else.
Marino. Yep.
Marino, thank you. Out for so long. Mata, granted, maybe Detroit wasn't his best performances, I guess you can say. But I mean, this is 7 years now in the league. He was with the Kings for a really long time. I want to say he was a Hawk for like a minute before that too.
He's a winner for a Hawk. He was a winner with the Penguins in their cup runs. So
So I was way off. I thought he was like one of those guys that started in like 2017 or something.
well, he did, but he won with them in 17, I think it was.
Oh yeah. Well, I was still right with the math. Seven
Yeah.
years.
I
Yeah.
didn't
All right.
correct your math. I
Oh
just
yeah.
said he
Sorry.
won with
Sorry.
I didn't correct the math. I just said he
Yeah.
won with the Penguins.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good trade on Utah. Especially because I have them making the playoffs. I think they're as of right now. I'd still say they're a goalie away, but they are a good team, a good energetic team, and um I mean clearly that's like not a win now, but you can see with like the front the management, right? Like how like they want Utah to be like Vegas, right? In it
Yeah.
every single season. That the that place like jumping up and down, fans going nuts. So I mean, I get it from all perspectives, and I'm not surprised. There was rumors before that trade even happened. They were going after, I think it was Provorov of the CBJs.
Yep.
Um, so I think Provorov, if they could have gotten that would have been even better. But I mean, Olimata's not a bad fallback. But yeah, I think it's a good trade from Utah. Stay in it while you can. You don't want to fall behind, as you already said with the Bruins. You can lose a lot of playoff ground, um, in months like October, November, December. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm sure you. I mean, what do you agree or
Yeah, just to, respect Oli Mato's career a little bit. He won both times in 16 and 17.
yeah?
And he's been in the league for 11 years. So,
Oh, wasn't even close.
yeah.
Maybe became a little bit of a household name 7 years ago, but yeah, he's been in the league for since 2014. But yeah, all respect to a past Hawk legend. Yeah, I mean, he was. I mean, I don't know why he was sort of an outcast on that blue lineup in Detroit. I mean, they're horrendous. Their decor is terrible. But yeah, I mean, it's great for him to get a new sort of role in a team that I don't want to say desperately needs it, but sort of needs that defensive minded D a little bit. I know they have Ian Cole, but you can never have too many sure-handed D back there when you're, up a goal um, to sort of close out games. And I think for a young team, that's sort of sometimes difficult to do. Um, it's unfortunate that Dylan Gunther sort of cooled off a little bit. It would have been exciting. I mean, obviously he's not going to score at that pace. I mean, he was on pace for like 85 goals. I mean, you're not going to score at that pace the whole year. But he sort of cooled off a little bit. They had a big win against Calgary. I think it was like 6-1 or 6-2 the other night. So I think he got on the board a few times or once and then had a few assists. So cool to see if he can sort of get back to maybe half the level he was at and get back on pace for those 35 goals that I think he's capable of. So yeah, Utah is sort of finding their way. They got 13 points in 12 games. So yeah, I think for quote unquote a new franchise with the same roster, they've been doing pretty well. Um, but I think, there's another team in the Central that has sort of taken the league a little bit by storm. They've one loss, two OT losses, and it's not the Jets, it's the Minnesota Wild. They have been absolutely dominant. They have a plus 13 goal differential, and they're 5-1-1 on the road. So they've been getting it done away from home. Sort of like the Kings did a little bit last year, where they sort of went on a like 8-game road streak to win or eight-game road winning streak to start the year. Obviously, that was thwarted by the New York Islanders. But coming back to this season, Minnesota Wild, it's been a joy to watch guys like Boldy, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, Marco Rossi's even been fantastic. Faber just building on a great year from last year. And I think this team looks legit. What do you think?
Yeah, I look like a fool. I think I had this team not making it. Um, Yeah, I mean Kaprizov, he's been magic, man. He's been like unbelievable. And Gustafson in the back, Fleur. I mean, Fleury is not like the same anymore, but this team is so good, just in balance, right? Like, you know, Gruyere, I think it's Gruyere, right?
Who?
The GM. No?
Oh,
Jim Gruyere or something? Jim Gruyere?
Bill Guerin,
Oh, Bill Guerin. I wasn't even close.
Islander legend.
Yeah. He's done such a good job with like, the Boldy contracts and, they just they Jesper Wallstedt, who's also a great goalie. So having, those two tandems in the future between Gustafsson and Wallstedt. Yeah, but I mean, you said it. Like guys like Joel Eriksson at Goodrow, like this Foligno, like this lineup's filled with guys that like beforehand we should have known that we should have expected this. I guess you could say, especially from guys like what Kaprizov has 21 points, tied for first in the league.
Yeah, I
Like
think it's like 21 and 10 or 11 or something. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean the Wild are. For me, like the Wild are just I don't know. The Wild are just a really good team. Like there's
Yeah,
nothing that like these aren't I would say that they're what is it, pretenders or contenders? I
yeah,
say they're contenders. I wouldn't say they're pretenders.
yeah. I would agree. I mean, with 21 points in 11 games. I mean, ever since he's been in the league, he's just been dominant, right? I think he's due for sort of like that. I don't know, maybe 50 and 65 for 115 totals this year. Obviously, he stays healthy, plays all 82. Obviously, he's not going to score at the 1.92 ish points per game pace. That would, I mean, if he did, that would be fantastic, and he deserves every offensive award there is at the award show in the summer. But I think he's definitely the front runner for the Hart right now. I mean, that's my opinion. If betting probably has that differently, but even with McDavid missing, what is it, 4 or 5 games, I think he's going to come back pretty soon. But yeah, I
Ate
mean,
it today.
yeah, he's I mean, the other guys are great, right? Boldy probably caps out at an 80-point guy. Capri or Zuccarello is probably like 65 right now. Erickson X probably 70, 75, but you know, he's a 120-point guy in this league, and it's been great to watch. I mean, he's so dynamic with the puck. His skating is beautiful. So it's really good to see that they're playing so well. And yeah, I would agree that they're definitely on the side of contenders rather than pretenders. Also, Philip Gustafson, great pads, especially with those third jerseys. The throwback set, they're beautiful. He's been unbelievable. I think he's like 6-1-1, maybe 6-2-1. Fleury's played 3 games. He's 2-0-1. So I think they got a good tandem there. Strong defense, and they're doing all this while you tip the cap to Guerin, but I'm going to tip it again. They're doing this while they're still paying Parise and Suter. So that, I mean, that's another $10 million sort of minimum that they're shedding for no reason. So, I mean, that's a legit 100-point guy in the league is $10 million. So, yeah, it's impressive to see what they've done. Yeah, maybe their core is a little bit on the older side, but they got a lot of young guys that can come in and fill those voids. But yeah, definitely a team to keep on watching past the first 15 games of the season. Next, we're going to go to the Metro. It's not going to be the Islanders. It's going to be the Capitals, the Washington Capitals. I don't know how they're getting it done with two right-handed goalies, especially with one being number 48 and the other one being number 39. I mean, it just shouldn't work, right? Um, they're 8-3. They got 7 of 8 regulation wins, which is pretty impressive. They're outscoring their opponents 46-13. They're 6-1 at home. So, I mean, they're just defending home ice brilliantly. They've also played 7 of 11 games at home. So maybe if they get on the road pretty more consistently, then maybe that'll shift. But yeah, Ovechkin scoring at pace to get that record broken. I think before the season I said he might be able to get it broken, break it. That was pretty bad English. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, it's impressive to see what they're doing. I mean, much love to my boy, future or Pass talk legend Dylan Strome. I mean, he is
Unbelievable.
he is lighting it up right now.
Unbelievable.
It was a shame it couldn't really work out in Chicago, but it's nice to finally have that sort of stability in his game. And yeah, what are your opinions on the Caps?
Yeah, I mean, just like shock, right? Like this, like I remember, I forgot who I maybe it was Biz or it was where or somebody I just heard like this team could actually like last year was a fluke. Like they shouldn't have made the playoffs. Like, but
Yeah,
this year they deserve it. Like if
yeah,
they keep if they keep it up, like and especially like I mean, granted they're older, but like no Backstrom, right? He's LTIR, no Oshie, right? Like, and then they go out on the risk of Pierre-Luc Dubois. Like, he has 6 or 7 points, I think. I'll check.
I'll look it
But
up.
yeah, I mean McMichael has been playing like lights out as well. Like you speak about a guy like Dylan Strome, Poitras, you know, and then like Chikrin has like found a little bit of new life in him. Yeah, I mean, this team like and Sandin's obviously playing well. Oh, not the story of Mickelrath. How do you pronounce Mickelrath? How do you
McElrath, I think. Yeah,
McElrath? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, what a story that guy is right there. But yeah, I think
he's a
Card.
guy you want in the playoffs. That guy, just fucking, he'll bash someone's head in.
Not only that, but that's a guy with that story. If I'm sitting across the locker room, like
Yeah,
I'm going 110% for that guy.
yeah,
But
agreed.
I think Cardberry, I think the Capitals not they deserve more attention than just the OV race right now.
Yeah,
They're playing really really good hockey. Um, they got a really good group of guys that are more mature now in the league. Dylan Strome, being the biggest one, I guess you can say that shows that. But yeah, I mean a shocking group, I guess you can say, but I'm not mad at it.
yeah,
I don't know if this, like you said, with the away games, I don't know if how much this keeps up and everything, especially with their legs. We'll see how what their legs are like in February, but um, yeah, I mean, just one of those teams that I'm watching. I'm not no emotions, but I'm just happy to see success in Capital One Arena. You?
yeah. I don't really want to like rain on Pierre-Luc Dubois' parade, but he's actually been a lot worse than I thought. He has 6 points in 11 games, and he's a minus player this year. So I mean, you would like some more out of him, but he's got to get acclimated. But we'll see what happens with him. He's on pace for 45-ish points. Hopefully, he can eclipse that. But
His one was
nonetheless,
a empty netter too. I forgot
uh,
to. Yeah.
Jesus, even worse. But yeah, I mean, I like it because I need the Islanders to miss the playoffs
Hmm.
because I cannot stand the Islanders making the playoffs again and us like, okay, we're in the playoffs. Like, no, we're terrible. So I like that they're good. I think OV will get it. Um, I think it could be potentially ironic. I think their last game of the season is against the Penguins. So if he does it against Sid, that would be a pretty cool moment. But yeah, I think that, it's great that they're playing well. They're also doing this without a guy that they got in the offseason, Matt Waugh from the Kings at D. He's
Yeah.
out for a decent amount of time. So that's another strong D man that they could have potentially upon his return. Um, but yeah, I think it's great that they're good. I like that they're prolonging his career and being competitive at the same time, right? John Carlson seems to be a little rejuvenated. He's making some good plays on the power play and at even strength and so on. So yeah, I think they're poised to make the playoffs. Um, but we'll see what happens further down the line.
as they've only been in 11 contests so far this year. Next, I mean, I kind of want to stay in the Metro. There's a little surprising situations in the Metro. Um, Carolina is 8-2. It's kind of like a sneaky good start to the season for them. Um, I don't really like that they're good. I just thought I'd point that out. Um, but yeah, it's sort of interesting. They've only played 10 games too. Like, I don't know why they're not playing more games. Them and Vancouver. Yeah, them and Vancouver are the only teams that have played 10 games. I guess technically they got a game canceled for the hurricane. So, um, interesting. But I want to talk about the Devils at the top of the list. They have 18 points in 15 games. They've just played a lot more games than everybody else. I mean, they also went over to Munich. Yeah, Munich.
Yep.
To start the year against the Sabres, but then again, the Sabres have played 3 less games than them, so whatever. But yeah, I want to hone in on Jack Hughes a little bit. He has 12 points in 14 games. 7 of those points are even strength, which I guess you like more than, 8 of those points being on the power play, right? Um, so I think that, he's been casted as like a legit 100-point guy, dynamic forward. But he's not the one getting it done right now. And I think that could put some Devils fans at ease, honestly. The fact that, the likes of Heeshear, Jesper Bratt, they're both leading the team in points. Heeshear has, I think, 10 goals by now, maybe 11, 10 or 11 goals. And Brad has just been a playmaker all year. Dawson Mercer had a beautiful loop pass to Timo Meyer last night in Edmonton, a beautiful pass. So you like to see that everything is clicking. Maybe it's just, for the better of the team that, the point production's being spread around a little bit. Maybe that's the case, maybe it's not. I don't really know. But yeah, it's interesting to see that, he's off to a slow start, but they're sort of hanging in games and um, playing at a 600 point percentage pace, which, by the end of the year, if they keep that pace up, should be enough to get them in the playoffs, or definitely would be enough to get them in the playoffs. Um, so yeah, and I think their goaltending is still shaky. Um, Jake Allen has 2 shutouts in his last 4 starts, so that's a
Yep.
little bit better. But
He played well last night.
yeah, he did. I think he made 31 save shutout
Yeah.
against Edmonton. So yeah, it was interesting to see them sort of start the way they did. Markstrom is terrible. Um, that one game against Detroit, I think it was 2 weeks ago. He just let up like a shot that was like no harder than a shot I would take to Patrick Kane. No screen, like the direct on. Like he's standing in the middle of the hash marks, nobody in front of the net. And it's almost like if you watch in slow motion, he moved his arm out of the way to let the puck like go through the 7 hole. So not something you want to see from your acquisition, but yeah, interesting start for the season for the Devils. Would you like to touch on the Devils or would you like to go elsewhere?
No, I mean, I think you said it. The Devils. I think if Markstrom can find his form, I think the balance, kind of distribution of scoring, and their defense. I mean, if I think Brett Pesci. I mean, granted, he's come off of an injury, but I'd like to see a little bit more out of him. Not just point wise, but just like his overall play. Like there was a few times in the last few games where veterans shouldn't be making some of those mistakes, like little things, like just going into the corners the wrong way. If you get what I'm saying.
I got you.
Yeah, but I mean the Devils, like I expect them to be in throughout the year in that top three um spots in the Metro. But yeah, um, and in regards to any other team, is there any team that you're finding are besides like the obvious predators, right? Like any teams that like pretenders, right? Going back to what we were talking about with the Wild, like any real contenders or real pretenders that you can see?
Um,
Besides like the obvious, like
yeah, yeah,
stay away from
I know who you're talking about. I think I kind of want to pump the Kings' tires a little bit.
okay.
Um, I just, they're 7-3-3, which, maybe you would like them to close out a little bit of um games in the extra periods a little bit more often. Um, of their 13 games they've played, they've only played 4 home games, and they're 3-0-1 in those 4 games. 4-3-2 on the road. 6-3-1 in their last 10. So pretty prolific. Um, I think Darcy Kemper has been sort of a jubilation move for them. He's played pretty well up to this point. I mean, I don't think his stats are, like
Shut
anything
out last night.
insane. Yeah, he did get a shutout last night against the Predators. He has a 900 save percentage and a 267 goals against. So, I mean, it's doable, right? Brant Clark has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think he's 12 points in 13 games as a rookie D-man. I saw his advanced metrics. They're actually not terrible on the defensive end either. Um, so that's sort of good for them, and good to know that, when Doughty does decide to call it, they do have that number one guy. Hopefully they can get Doughty back I mean, it's not going to be pretty soon, but soon. Um, Kopitar's been great. Kempe's been great. Fiala had a little bit of a mishap with, punctuation in team affairs, which cost him a game or two. But, he's a guy that can get you 65, 70, 75 points in a year. But a guy I wanted to highlight, you know, friend of the channel's brother, Alex Laferriere. This guy's been on a tear to start the year. I believe he has 8 goals in 13 games, um, which is just fantastic. Yeah, he's got 8 goals, 3 assists for 11 points in 13 games. He's a +9. He's just filled in beautifully for, a top line role. He's net front on the power play. Um, Scored 2 nice goals against my Hawks the other day, even though the Hawks came back to win in the shootout. But I think, they're getting this done. They're playing at a, 673 points percentage without Byfield being what Byfield can be. So that's why I would like to label them as contenders potentially, is due to the fact that they're doing it without Doughty, and they're doing it with Byfield scoring at less than a half a point per game pace. So yeah, I think there's room to improve for them for sure. But yeah, definitely a team that, maybe first wild card spot, second wild card spot in the West, but I think they can fight for those top three spots in the Pacific, and hopefully they don't match up against Edmonton again. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's who I'm going to label as my team. Who do you have? Who do you like, if you do have one?
I
And maybe
that
they're a
that
pretender.
yeah, I mean that king shout is I really like actually, and I mean the huge test tonight. They're playing at Gustafson's Wild.
Yeah,
Um,
back to back as well. So
yeah, so I mean that's a huge test there, but um, like I think contenders is pretty obvious. Like we know we got the Jets there, we got Dallas there, but I mean Dallas have been on a little bit of a skid. I don't. I mean, granted they just played the Cats in Finland and they
yeah,
lost. They lost both games, so that's all fairness there. But do you want to go to Leafland? Like, are you?
I'll talk about the Leafs any day. I mean,
I mean,
they
whoa,
need some juice.
they need. I mean, and Matthews is out tonight
I
too. So
know, and it's
um,
been lingering. It's not a
yeah,
new development. So, I mean, what's
no,
their goal differential? It's 0. They're 6-5-2. Granted, all their wins have been regulation wins, so that's pretty good. They've scored 39. They've given up 39 goals as a team. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10. I mean, it's just
I
I mean, you have to think that, it's all gonna fizzle out, right? Like,
yeah.
the teams that hot start are gonna, come down. The teams that slow start, it's all gonna sort of merge together a little bit, which is why I'm not worried about the teams behind, like Dallas, because Winnipeg's not gonna end the season with a 91 points percentage, or they'll win fucking 70 games. Um, so yeah, I think their power play is an issue, like super big issue. They're rolling as the worst power play in the league at the moment. I believe it's 7.9%, which is just a $50 million power play, basically running at 7.9%. They've gone to five forwards. They're like, we don't even need D out there anymore. And they finally scored against the Wild. But yeah, I think, the star, I mean, Matthews has been off to a slow start, right? But yeah, I don't know about Leafs land. Like, they're just like the Leafs. Like, I don't know. They're just the Leafs. What do you think?
I'm sending it right back. Sorry, but do you think this is still like getting used to Berube territory, or is like it's that's that train's left the station. It's now just the Leafs being the Leafs.
I think that's sort of a poor man's excuse 15 games into the year. Um, I think they know how he wants them to play, right?
Yeah,
Um, And yeah, that's probably a lot different. He's probably got a tighter leash than what Keith had with some guys, right? And we saw that he was sort of giving it to some of the guys that, maybe Keith wouldn't give it to, following, goals against or poor plays and stuff like that. I mean, Nylander's got 13 points in 13 games. I don't know what Marner has. I think it's probably close to that.
he's got 14,
Marner's got 14, and Matthews, I think,
11,
yeah,
with
11.
tied with Tavares as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, but how many goals do you have? Like four? Four in the
Uh, Tavares and Matthews are both 5 and 6, 5 goals, 6.5
okay.
goals.
All right. So, I mean, he's on pace for 50, 40 goals. But yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. They're just the Leafs, I think, at this point. Like not Wool, sorry, excuse me. Stolarz has been like fantastic.
Yeah,
Um, it's just like his stats are like super good. Like he's got a 2.38 and a 9.20, and they've won, and he's 4-2-2.
the gentle giant.
Like that's Ilya Sorokin level. Like insane stats, but the team doesn't score. Um, so I don't know. I think they're obviously gonna. I believe they'll go on a streak of like, six in a row at some point, right? Um, to sort of separate themselves from the field. They're in I think tonight's a big game. I mean, it's tough to say that 13 games in, but they physically cannot beat the Bruins. Like they can't. Um, so I think if they beat the Bruins tonight, maybe it'll send a shock through the team. They win without their captain. So yeah, but also another thing, I think Robertson will get traded from them. He sort of really hasn't found his footing this year after a strong training camp. Um, Also, what did you think of Max Domi's attempt to spring the team on some sort of 3-on-1, but Spurgeon beat him back to the puck in overtime?
I think I think
And someone went for a change, which is why they had a 2-on-0 back the
yeah.
other way.
Um I think I think he forgot whose legs he had.
Yeah.
I think his eyes were bigger than what's the saying? Is that whatever. But
Yeah, I got you.
I mean it was pretty funny. Like he
It was
chips it up.
hilarious.
Yeah. And then like it's like his legs didn't go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
like but yeah, I mean it's sad. But maybe 10 years ago he's got
Yeah.
you
I
know
mean, he's a fast guy, but I mean, Spurgeon just engine past him, just
and
sent
he
it.
put it so far. Like
Yeah, sent it so far. But I don't know. Great finish by Matthew Boldy on the other end though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just the Leafs being the Leafs. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just I completely agree, but I just this is just I just find not comedic, but just like a little bit concerning, or a little bit of both. This team cannot win. And there's no such thing. Uh, there's no like close game in this
Yeah,
team head.
yeah,
Like so, this is from October 16th, 6-2, 4-1, 5-2, 6-2, 5-1, 6-4. Well, that's kind of close, but still high scoring. 4-1, 4-2, and then now we're tonight. So I
yeah.
mean, like they either just mail it in, or it's like, oh guys, like we can score goals, like
Yeah.
so
I
I mean,
like what bothers me about them is that they've lost to the Blues twice.
yeah,
Like
the comeback kid.
that's your old coach's team. Like help them out, get up for them, and just bundle a team that's without their two top guys on the front end and the back end in Broberg and Thomas. I mean, the first game they had Broberg, but the second game they had Broberg for like a period, and Thomas hasn't played either. So maybe it's not them just being Leafs. Maybe they're just being just above mediocre. But yeah, I don't know if there's any, real thought for concern on. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
I think it's a locker room problem. I
Okay.
think I don't know.
I would love to see a Mitchie Marner departure just to see what it does to
I
like the team.
I think it would be better for the team.
Yeah.
Cause think about it, right? So you have a guy like Matthew Nyes, right? He's like a rebound machine. Like this guy has like 8 goals just on rebounds this year, right? You bring in two like third liners, or maybe a second liner and third liner, right? Or a bottom pair D man, something, right? Because what he's gonna expect 12 mil this offseason, 11 mil. That's two really good players. Not really good, but two good solid players in NHL. Dylan Holloway, 6 mil. Broberg was even cheaper, I think. Could you like could you like Mitch Marner leaving? That's a huge thing. Like I think that makes their team better 100%.
Yeah, I think it, gives them a lot of flexibility, which is, what teams envy and what they want. Um, I think it'd
They
just
should
be
just
cool.
shoot the puck.
I think it'd just be cool for like the hockey world. This is sort of for another conversation, but like the only thing I like about the NBA is the fact that the max contract is 5 years long. Like I like to see like turnover in teams and like
Huh. Yeah.
I just like when stars go to different teams. I don't like the fact that they request trades and they don't play until they get traded. But like, you know, for example, a guy like Bedard, if he wants to stay in Chicago, he'll sign 2 8-year contracts
Yeah.
after his first 3 years, and like that's it. Like he's like unless he's Patrick Kane and he go plays for like three different teams for like 20 minutes each, like but I don't know. I just like the turnover. I think it's cool to see stars switch teams, and
Yeah.
um, obviously, if you have a generational guy, you want them on your team forever. But you understand it's a business, but it's a business for a certain tier of players, I think. Um,
I mean, Gretzky got traded, so anybody can get traded, I guess. Um, but it was also a little bit different back then. But yeah, I think the Leafs just need to find a little bit of their game. Um,
Yeah.
and hopefully Wall like injured still, or I don't even
No,
know.
he's just not seeing the puck right now.
Okay, so yeah. He needs to see the puck because Stolars cannot play 65 games.
He's playing
Um,
tonight, so I think
Woll is.
I think so.
Let's see what Mark Masters said because I think he said Stolars tonight, but we'll check. Um,
It's no, it's still ours. I was wrong.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's Stolars. But yeah, interesting. I want to
Do you
give it.
got any like star people or star performers that you got
Yeah, I want to. I want to
shout
give
out
a. I
here?
want. I want to give a shout out to a player, in the Atlantic, not producing at a high clip, but the flashes are there. Um, he's I think he could be like a 60-point guy. Um, Rookie Connor Geeky,
Okay.
he's just a mutant on the ice. He's 6'4". He's 200 pounds. He wears a big white turtleneck. He has a tinted visor, all white stick. Like this guy's a mutant out there. Like long hair. He's playing on the line with Hagel and Sorelli. Hagel, different conversation. I mean, he's producing it. He's got like 15 points in 12 games. He's been unreal. Maybe not that many. I think he's like 12 and 12. But still, this guy, he's got 4 points or 3 points in 12 games. Um, but like all four of those points have come in like the last 6 games. Um, he seemed to have good chemistry. He's big, strong, good at the face-off dot. But yeah, that's sort of the guy I would like to you know, pump his tires a little bit and make sure people know his name. Um, he's a Manitoba guy. Obviously, he came over in the Sergachev trade for or between Utah and Tampa Bay. Also, another guy in that trade, JJ Moser's been really good for them on that blue line as well. So looks like it's working out for both teams. But yeah, he's got 2 goals, 1 assist, 12 games. I think all of those have come in like the last like 4 to 6 games. So yeah, he's sort of after he found his footing, sort of started to pile it on a little bit. But yeah, what about you? Any other performances that you'd like to mention and thus far this season?
Well, I know you got one more.
Yeah.
So, I mean mine's pretty quick. It's more of just, get back onto this guy. Like last year we saw him, he was injured. He was trying to get his team to the playoffs, break a 14-year skid, but TNT's back. He's
Yeah.
back, Tripp. He's
Yeah.
back.
Sure.
He just
Sure.
he's back. He just broke the record for hardest shot in a game recorded. Like 7 goals in 12 games now, 13 points. He's back. And if there's any
Yeah.
way that the Buffalo Sabres turn around this 4-7-1 record, it's two things: Tage Thompson and Lindy Ruff getting fired.
Yeah, he needs to
So,
go so bad. That was a terrible hire.
but I can see him getting back to that 40 goals, maybe if not that 50 goals. So
Yeah.
keeping
Um,
him on TNT.
yeah, you alluded to it. I got one more guy. He's from my Hawks. He's been fantastic. Lucas Reichel. This guy has played sheltered minutes. I think he's sort of averaging like, around 13 minutes a night. Um, but yeah, he's been fantastic. He's demanding the puck. He's playing with Craig Smith, who's been
Oh
unbelievable,
my
like
god.
super good. Like
It's
I don't
like the
know
French
how.
connection with Donato over there
Oh my
too.
God, just fantastic. All right, yeah. So he's between like 11 to 15 minutes a night, depending on how he's playing. So that averages to probably 13 minutes a night. He's got 6 points in 9 games. He's a +2, which on the Hawks' fourth line being a +2, like that's pretty impressive. Um, he's been bumped to the first power play unit. He's playing on the other flank across Bedard. Seth Jones at the point, obviously. Um, but yeah, he's demanding the puck. He's playing with pace. He's playing well in the D zone. He's a center. Um, his faceoffs are iffy at times, but better. Um, but yeah, I think that does it have his faceoff percentage on here? Yeah, 36%, not good. Um, but yeah, he's averaging 12 minutes a night. Um, but what I like about him, I actually think he can teach this to our man Connor, savior of our franchise, is he gets super low as the center in the D zone, right? So, puck goes around the boards. He's really low as the center in the middle of the ice. So it makes it really easy for guys like Maroon and Craig Smith, who are his wingers, to give him the puck up with speed, which he has a lot of. He's got a lot of speed. He makes decisions quick, and he's playing with a lot of confidence. But yeah, the way he gets low, supports the D in the D zone, and then has that quick step to get himself up to those wingers and be below the puck is something that I really want Connor to do, because when the puck gets rimmed and Connor's on the ice, he's ready over the blue line, expecting a chip off the boards. But no, he needs to get low so that like it sounds stupid to like pass it backwards, but like you're passing it backwards because you have more speed coming forwards out of the zone. So just the guy that like has been playing super well, 6 points in 9 games. I mean, let's say you get 7 and 10, that's sort of 770, not it's not 70 points, but it's like 60, 50. I don't think he'll stay at that pace, unfortunately. Hopefully he does, maybe with the power play, getting a little bit more ice time. But he's a guy that demands the puck, so I think it's good for him to play with players who are very good without the puck, right? So I don't think he'll ever be able to play with Connor because they both need the puck. Like you need, I mean, we've mentioned him on the show already, but like a guy like Brandon Hagel, like he doesn't need the puck to thrive, but like he'll get the puck. He'll support the guys with the puck. Um, but yeah, I think it's important to surround him with guys that are very good playing without the puck because he's puck dominant. But yeah, just a revelation sort of in Chicagoland a little bit. He was looking like a bust for a long time. I mean, I'm not saying he's a sure thing. I'm
Still
not.
20, what, 22?
22, 22.
Yeah, he's
But
young.
he was in that Kirby Doc sort of like ship him
Yeah.
out. Like I was calling for it. I was calling for him.
Carpe Deuce is another guy.
Yeah, I was calling for him to get shipped out before the season started if he didn't get his shit together. But he got scratched in the first. He's played 9 games and we've played 13. So the first 4 games he didn't play, but ever since he got in the lineup, he hasn't sort of looked back. And you say he's still playing on the fourth line, but he's still playing there because they've been so good. Like he's moved up in the lineup, but it just wasn't as effective, partially due to the fact of the puck dominance that I mentioned before. But they've just been so good as a 3-guy unit. So yeah, a guy that I think hopefully can, play with this confidence for the rest of the year and see where it takes him. But yeah, also some other news out of Hawksland. There's been some rumors that maybe we're going after Dylan Cousins in the offseason. Yeah, so who knows?
He hasn't done anything, and
No, been
he's
absolutely
got
horrendous.
he's got
Been
that
really
contract.
bad. He's been really bad. It's a rumor. I think it's a big rumor. I don't know if it's actually true, but we're looking for a second line center, which I hope we hold off on. But we talked about that 2 weeks ago. But yeah, any other performances or people that you'd like to let the people know about? Or I know you like a guy in between the posts down in SoCal.
So, oh yeah, Lucas Dostal. I mean, this for such a crappy team.
Get ready to learn about this guy,
Yeah.
Lucas Dostal.
Lucas Dostal leads the league in save percentage at like 212 or something. Something ridiculously low.
That's goals against.
Or thank you for goals against. And he's something ridiculously low. Lucas Dostal for having like I don't even know what you would categorize the Ducks in, but like there's the only team that's worse than them in the Pacific is San Jose Sharks. And I mean everyone knows that.
He's got a 222 goals against and a 937.
Yeah, 930 like
As a 24-year-old.
as 24-year-old, it's his net. We both said Gibson's gone. Like
Yep.
we both this guy he's huge, but he's nimble. He like I respect his game. He's got good pads. Like I love his game. Like this is a goalie that I want to see success. Like the Islanders could be on the other end. I want to see a 30 save shutout. Like I want to like this is a guy I hope he has success, especially in the Ducks organization. I don't want to see another John Gibson. You know what I mean? Like I idle away his career, but Lucas Dostal, it's a shame that there's no All-Star game this year. Really deserves it. Yeah, I mean on the short form content in a few days because I've been milking it. My goalie list. He might surprise some people, but he's definitely in the top 7 for this year. He's playing really well.
Yeah, he also won MVP of the World Championships when Czech brought it home as the top goaltender and top player. So yeah, definitely a guy to keep out for. I think there's also some other trouble over there in Duckland. Cutter Gauthier has yet to score a goal. He looked good against the Hawks the other day. Zegras is sort of again, so maybe some
Pat Verbeek may be getting impatient a little soon, and you might see some fireworks over there in down in Pasadena. So yeah, a lot to talk about this week. You have anything else you'd like to touch on, or
Two
oh, a lot of
things.
games tonight. A lot of games tonight.
Yeah, a lot of games. Will Smith, he scored his two first goals, so good for him. And then Celebrini's back in the lineup tonight.
Yep.
And um, do you want to do the games? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, the only thing that I can think about is the the NFL trade deadline just ended 26 minutes ago. So
Okay, it's the Giants didn't trade Azeez Ojulari, which sucks, but whatever. We'll go rapid fire games tonight.
all
We
right,
got Penguins Isles. Who do you got?
Penguins 5-3.
I got Penguins too. Unless it's Jari, but it's not. It's Nedeljkovic.
Delkovich.
Sabres Senators.
It's Luukkonen, Olmark. Give me Sens 4-1.
Yeah, give me Sens 6-1. Yeah, big one. Um, yeah, Bruins Leafs.
Give me, I don't know, Leafs.
All right, I'll
1
go.
nothing.
I'll say Bruins. 1-0.
Love that. Love that.
Flames Canadians.
Give me Flames
All right.
6-1.
Wow, stopping their cold streak.
Hmm.
I'll go. Let's go Canadians. I think Slav might be back in the lineup tonight. So,
Oh, after that hit,
yeah. To which he said he was very unhappy with. Yeah,
but he can't
he's
speak about it. He can't.
yeah,
He can't
yeah,
say.
yeah. He's he's slated to be back on that second line with Jake Evans and Alex Newhook. So we'll see what happens. And that game is going to be Wolf versus Montembeau.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go Canadians. 4-3 overtime.
All right.
Let's go Flyers Hurricane. Who do you got?
Uh, Hurricanes 3-0. Brindamore masterclass.
Yeah, I like Hurricanes here as well. I think 2-1. Lightning Blues. I'm gonna go Lightning. Connor Geeky point.
All right. Love
Shout out
that.
my guy. Shout out my guy.
Love that. The opposite of what Bruce Cassidy. Well, not the opposite. Same strategy Bruce Cassidy did. Bennington masterclass tonight. Comeback kids win 3-2.
All right. I'm going Kings Wild. I pumped the Kings tires, but I'm a wild
Riddick.
on this
It's
one.
Riddick.
Yeah, wild. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Wild.
Jets Utah.
It's Vishma. Oh, it's Jets. Vishmelka's playing. It's Jets.
Yeah, it's Jets no matter what. Especially in Manitoba. Kraken Avs. Nichushkin back on the ice today. Good sign for the Avs.
Neubauer versus Anunian.
Avalanche.
Yeah, same.
Ducks Canucks.
Give me Kevin Lankinen. Guy's a beast.
Yeah. You're picking against Dostal. Wow.
Oh wait. Oh shit. Yeah. No, that's okay. Canucks. OT. OT. Close
Okay,
game.
let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go Canucks as well. I'm
I
gonna
gotta
say
be
Jake.
realistic.
I'm gonna say Jake DeBrusk goal after he scored his first the other night against the Sharks. Sort of get off the schneid a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jake DeBrusk goal and a Canucks. I want to say like 7-4. But two empty netters, so 5-4.
That would be my Kings Wild game. I would have 7-4.
Yeah. And then Blues or Blue Jackets and Sharks. Who do you got?
There's a reason why this game's the latest game of the night.
Nobody cares. Nobody
Yeah.
will see it till tomorrow.
Yeah, no one cares. I'm not even sure if I'll click into Sportsnet and watch the highlights. Give me CBJs.
All right, I'll take the Sharks on that one. Who's in the pipes? Who's in the pipes? Who's in the
It's
pipes?
Elvis versus Vita.
Oh my God, horrendous. Why is Jake Wallman being a healthy scratch? Whatever. Celebrini masterclass. Sharks.
He, yeah. So Celebrini. I don't think he scores tonight.
All right. Well, there it is. Episode 8. A lot of teams that we talked about. A lot more teams that could be talked about, but save that for another day. See if they're, keep up with their pace that they're on, or speed up the pace that they're at. So yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in, and see you all next week.